Well, it's been 2 months. 2 months and for what? Another lesson in how not to address drama 101. Yeah, Mother Maggie made a 50-minute video responding to my video and Impasta's as well. Yeah, she basically made a feature-length film for discussing the drama within her community, and much like the Taking a Break stream that I also did a commentary on, it was a big ol' nothing burger. Oh, and would you look at that? A shout out to both me and Impasta. Oh, you shouldn't have. For those out of the loop, here's a short version of what happened. A troublesome user named Foxmas was allowed to appear in one of Maggie's streams despite having the Discord role called house arrest, which means you can't communicate on her server and your stream access is revoked. Yeah, basically not enforcing her own damn rules and letting someone who harassed other mutuals in on streams. Well, as it turns out, there was a bit more to this than I never even knew until recently. Because as it turns out, much like other YouTubers that were exposed recently, Maggie herself has engaged in sexually explicit conversations and sent NSFW images to minors. Because of fucking course. And the best part, she doesn't even try to deny it, and the people that are still on her side swept it all on the rug because fuck you. By the way, I apologize if the video suddenly looks like a PS1 game. For some reason, the original video was uploaded in 480p, which really blurs out the Discord screenshots she shows. And on top of that, when I downloaded the video resolution dropped to 360p. Nice. You start the video off with a traditional deep sigh, seen in other apology videos that lead to nowhere.
This is gonna be a long video. Hello guys, it's MagikuMaggi, and I do apologize in advance if any of this comes off as offensive or mean, but I need to make it very fucking clear that I don't give a shit anymore.
One thing you will notice is the comparison from the Taking a Break stream to this. How Maggie went from all teary-eyed guilt-tripping and now is suddenly acting all tough. Kinda reminds me of another person who went through a similar phase. Oh shit. Moving on.
The events that I'm about to talk about have been a very unfortunate impact on my life, and trust me when I say that the last thing I wanted to do was make a video about any of them. But when a ghost from your past comes back to haunt you, you go Luigi's Mansion on its ass! Before I get into the events in question, I will ask that nobody go and attack or harass any of the people in these events, even though I'm about to give them absolutely no fucking mercy.
Oh no, not no mercy. I'm scared. Bring it.
I will also point out before I continue that I have ADHD, depression, anxiety, and PTSD, and I'm not very good at wording things, but I'll do the best that I absolutely can. For those who have watched Armor Werewolf and Impasta's video, you know about the situation in question. What you don't know is that it was one-sided. Absolutely one-sided. More than you fucking think.
This is a classic. I know I'm guilty. Here's a basis excuse you see people like Maggie use. Her fragile ego needs to be coddled so everything against you is automatically one-sided. Well, no shit, I'm not gonna suck up to you in my own commentary.
To start this off, let me go ahead and get to the story of the drama that happened 2.5 months ago in my server. Foxmas, who got put in house arrest for all the times that he's been mean to Parker. Basically, what happened the night before, he said something mean to Parker. It caused kind of a rift in the server, so he got put in house arrest for it. Sounds about right? Right? House arrest in my server is basically when you go on server lockdown. When you are in house arrest, you are not allowed to communicate in the server at all and are barred from streams.
Alright, so why did you then proceed to allow Foxes into your Metopia stream while he was still in house arrest? I thought as a server owner, you had to enforce your own rules. Oh wait, you and Foxes are more than buddy-buddy. That explains it all. And you never stated that the two of you were dating. What a shocker.
Foxmas was put in house arrest for the events mentioned prior. He was in there for about 2 going on 3 weeks when Metopia came out. Metopia was a game that I really wanted to play with him there. You kind of see where this is going, right? Only half right. Before making that decision that would ultimately be the wrong decision, I went to some of my friends and asked permission. And Pasta, Bubbles, and a few others were in that call. After getting what I had to say out, Bubbles told me that the decision like that should only be left up to the victims. And Pasta, who was classified as one of the victims at that time, said that she was willing to give Foxmas another chance, and she didn't mind him joining the streams. Bubbles followed that up with if Foxmas is taken out of house arrest, she would leave in contact. With this information in mind and having other people telling me that in the end it's my stream and the decision is up to me and that I can't please everyone, I made the decision to let Foxmas join me for the stream.
All of this could have been easily avoided if you had been competent in enforcing your own damn server rules. This is something that shouldn't even be discussed. You made a choice to bar him from streams, yet you still went against it, all over a fucking game. Nice.
Bubs did keep her word and left the server, and I did call her petty. It was mean, but please understand that I was feeling some type of way at the time.
Ah, the classic "I was feeling this way" excuse.
The next day before doing another Miitopia stream, I did message Imposta with the following screenshot, which reads, Chloe, I'm going to ask you now, if you want Foxes to stay in strict house arrest, he will stay in there. This is ultimately up to you and the other victims. I will respect your decision no matter what.
It's good you read that out loud for the whole class to hear. Reading comprehension is pretty low nowadays, especially when said screenshot is as blurry as a nearsighted person's vision without glasses.
She then proceeds to not give me an answer. During the next stream, Zan, who wasn't in the call prior, messages on the server stating what happened to Fox was not being in streams while in house arrest. Imposta's reply, as you can tell from this screenshot, states, I guess he's allowed now. As if she didn't give me permission the day prior. Foxmas even tries to state this, only for Zan to retort in her classic Zan way. This starts a fight between the two of us, in which later that night, I revoked her role as admin. I will get to why I felt that was correct in a second, because it'll be a lot easier to explain with the clusterfuck of bullshit that follows.
I'm gonna sound like a fucking parrot with how many times I have to repeat this over the span of my last video and this one. The fact you asked someone if it was okay for someone who was revoked of being allowed in streams to appear in one and proceeded to anyways only shows you are bad at doing your job. Stick to your guns and don't pick and choose the scenario because the two of you are dating over the internet. Also, props to Zan. You have my respect.
After the stress of the situation started to take its toll, and after talking to Tundra about it, I decided to do a stream, with her present, obviously, to announce that I was taking a break. During that, I also apologized for those who were hurt by my actions, however, I did not apologize for the actions that I chose. Why? Simple. I didn't think I did anything wrong.
Oh man, I'm already getting nostalgia. The taking a break stream was pretty fun to make fun of, especially considering your break was barely even a week.
I knew I played a part in it. But the people who escalated this much more than what it really should have refused to acknowledge that it took more than just my decision for this shitstorm to arise.
You escalated this to the extent it is now by even making it a stream and complaining when people were talking about it in that same live chat. Also, it wasn't just you who played a part in this. Fox's shitty behavior also played a part in fueling this fire that will probably keep burning for another few months.
I will give Zan props, because she came to me later and apologized for the part she played in this. But Bubbles and Imposta are still blissfully thinking that they did nothing wrong. And I know what you're thinking. But, Mags, why did you add Bubs to that? She really didn't do anything wrong. Here's why. All the screenshots here is what she said in the live stream when I was going on my break. Basically putting the entire situation out there in the open like it's laundry or some shit.
First off, what exactly did Bubbles and Imposta do other than call you out? Oh wait, that's what. Gotta protect the almighty ego, am I right? And if you did want all this to go public, why did you even dedicate a whole stream to this in the first place? By dedicating a whole stream to addressing drama and taking a break, you openly let everything out there yourself. So no, we didn't put this drama out to the public, you did. And we only helped you.
She called it calling me out on my bullshit. But even Tundra said that it looked like she was purposely putting that there to attack me.
Well, as we've seen in your taking a break stream, we all know Tundra is a colossal simp, so no surprise there.
On top of that information, she was one of the people that was quick to defend Imposta. But like Imposta, she didn't come to me to tell me something more needed to be done about Foxmas's behavior until Imposta sent her little blow up at me. And yes, I said a blow up because what the fuck do you call this? This is someone holding in something and blowing up on someone who only wanted her best interest in mind, but she wouldn't tell them what was wrong. She would always tell me she was stressed out in VC, but never to tell me what about.
For one, Imposta herself told me this wasn't a blow up. You could say she could have come to you all you want because at the end of the day, you still wouldn't have done shit. And when she called you out because you wouldn't take action either way, you only respond with whatever, in the same conversation where she told you how much she suffers. Real classy douchebag.
And anytime she did, it wasn't about Foxmas bullying Parker. I will also point out that Parker never, not once, came to me about the bullying. All I was hearing came from other people after the situation blew up. Did I respond well to Imposta's blow up? Hell no. Why? Because it caught me the hell off guard, and as a recovering cutter, was triggered by a lot of what she said.
After the Among Us stream, where Foxmas was going after Parker for talking during the outro, you were told about Fox's behavior. And what did you do? Fucking nothing. In fact, you left and said, I can't do this. Besides, you would have resorted to the classic I fucked up routine and nothing else. One final thing, did I respond well? No, because of coming off guard. I can go above and beyond and call you a colossal cunt for using one of the most generic defenses in history. But no, because I can actually control myself.
Regardless, Foxmas did end up in house arrest because of this, and they all chose that day to be the day that they tell me that Foxmas needs to be in house arrest for his actions. Not letting me know any sooner or more calmly. No, none of them decided to be civil. Had they had come to me sooner and been civil, I would have listened and would have decided sooner. But no, that didn't happen. I will admit that Zan mentioned it a time or two verbally, but at that time, the information of Parker being bullied was not brought up to my attention. And let me point out this very important detail. Not only did Foxmas apologize for his actions to all involved, but during the 2 going on 3 weeks time that he was in house arrest, up until the event leading up to, his guilt and improvement in my eyes, and the eyes of many others, was genuine.
Yeah, I'm calling bullshit on basically your whole point. Had Foxmas really improved, that shit wouldn't have happened. And no, you wouldn't have listened. You chose not to listen to past reports. What would have made this one any different?
And the eyes of many others was genuine. I didn't feel he deserved to be taken out of house arrest yet, but I did feel he deserved that chance to prove this improvement in stream, which he did.
He wasn't ready to be taken out of house arrest, yet you still allowed him in the stream. Like I said over and over, you're not supposed to do as your job of a server owner. My god, with how many times I say this, I feel like I'm talking to a first grader. I'm sure even they would understand this.
Did I apologize for my actions? Of course I did. And have I made changes to prevent this from happening in the future? Also yes. Server rules were beefed up, accommodations were made not only for the victims, but also for the current minors in the server. Streams have been age restricted on YouTube, and an advisory has been placed for the younger folks who still decide to watch my streams anyways. That last part makes sense because one of the things that Imposta decided to complain about was how vulgar I am, and Foxmas, when not only did she date someone who was just as vulgar, if not worse, but was also vulgar herself. Let me remind y'all, she's 14.
I see what we have here. Okay for me, but not for she. Makes sense if you wear a dunce cap. Server rules being beefed up with age restrictions is well dandy, but ultimately irrelevant to the current problem. Especially when you start removing age restrictions from your streams or straight up forgetting to enable them to begin with.
The following recordings are from 2 people who were in call with Imposta, Bubbles, and I. They have graciously agreed to provide these as an alibi that Imposta said what she said.
Oh, this ought to be good. Maggie did this before in the Taking a Break stream where she couldn't do this alone and needed help from someone for White Nights.
Alrighty, so on this day in question, I was in a call with Maggie when she was asking when the person in question wanted to join the stream. And she asked everyone in the call if they were allowed to join. I was there when Imposta said it was okay. And they had also stated that they would forgive the person in question and was willing to give them another chance.
Here's Bluebell wanting Foxmas in the stream while knowing all well what house arrest means. This alibi is null immediately. Now yes, Imposta did say she was fine with giving Foxmas a chance in VC, only for that chance to be squashed and where we are today. And given how Imposta says she didn't want him on stream and then saying it was okay, looks likely she just wanted to appease Maggie during that call because she didn't want to cause a scene. Velvet Painter, who came up next, I was going to make fun of, but as it turns out, he eventually did the right thing and cut contact with Maggie. So props to him, I respect it. If you're watching, don't go and try and drag him back into this. Let him have his peace. Maggie then takes a look at both mine and Imposta's videos. Or rather, she looks at one clip of mine and 0 of Imposta's. But still, it's the thought that matters.
Now to tackle the videos that were made. I've been ready for this one. With Werewolf's video, I will give him credit for the advice he gave and splices from not only my break stream, but also one of the Metopia streams. But I have to point out that he took only what he observed and whatever he heard from the others to make his video.
Oh no shit, I put my observations in the video. I'm not gonna re-upload your entire stream. If I did, then that one counter video would be longer than most modern movies. And no, I didn't just take what the others have said. I actually watched your streams and I saw what goes on in your server. I appreciate the acknowledgement in general though.
Have this clip.
But then over the past few weeks, a string of poor decision making led to a number of folks, including myself, leaving.
He also still has me on his friends list as I'm writing this script.
Disregarding the fact I did leave your server at first before joining back. And not to mention, you eventually found out kicked me from your server and all your invite codes don't work anymore. Didn't think that went through now, did you?
There is one thing I will point out that I did do, and I will go ahead and say sorry for, and that thing is being after Zan had left the server, I replaced her in Metopia. Let me first say, I was mean for that, and I do apologize. Not to mention, she's been replaced back with her original me since these incidents have happened. However, let me also point out that this was the day after Zan said what she said in the chat. Needless to say, I was angry, livid even.
There's another, oh, I was angry so I acted out. Not a valid excuse, keep trying, cope harder.
But also let me point out one thing that they tried to debunk multiple times, and that is, I am lenient with the people close to me. Let me tell you, after Foxmas was put in house arrest, I did go about punishing people if they deserved it. And after years of her anger causing her to lash out, including multiple times in stream, I felt removing her admin role was earned and honest. She was lucky to have not ended up in house arrest herself. The only thing that is thrown up more than once is favoritism toward Foxmas, but knowing this new information, it's obvious that Foxmas is not the only one who got the supposed favoritism. Many people in my server, all close friends, have done one or more things to have earned them a visit to house arrest, if not banned. But since they were close to me, it was always worked out. Zan is one of those individuals. It wasn't until this drama happened that I actually started saying, fuck it, and punishing when needed.
That's a very dried out way to admit your shit out of your job of being a server owner. Impressive.
I will also point out, and this is really becoming a trend here, and this is the first fucking video out of 2, that he pointed out that Zan only left the server. But what he didn't know, or say, you know, because he never came to me to get my side of the story, was that Zan started the fire the day before. You'll remember the screenshot? Werewolf wasn't in this server because it was for trusted mutuals. Guess they left that part of the story out too when he was told.
If I wasn't on that server, how would I see the messages unless they were screenshotted and sent to me? Which they weren't at the time. And yeah, I didn't get your side of the story. This isn't a fucking true crime documentary. This is some petty internet bullshit caused by you and Foxmas.
Can y'all see the trend here? The one thing Werewolf decided to mention in this video, but not show, is the live chat. Which, if you were there, you would see the stuff Bubbles and Zan were saying. You think they went there to be civil? No. There were people in there that weren't against me. But I couldn't pay attention to those messages when others were overshadowing them.
I have screenshots of every single message in that live chat to prove you're full of shit. Not one of those messages were out there for your blood. Call them not civil all you want because at the end of the day, what they said is the truth. You may be wondering, what happened to that stream? It's unlisted. Good thing receipts are not hard at all to have.
Another pointed out thing about the video is that he cuts the stream off at a certain point because all it is genuine crying. But if you kept going, he would have seen that in the end, I did apologize. I can't do this. I'm sorry. Okay? I'm sorry. I know everything I fucking did fucked everything up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I didn't take everyone else's feelings into accountability. I'm sorry that I was being selfish. I'm sorry about everything. I don't care if you forgive me, but I'm sorry. Which is one thing he points out multiple times, is that I never apologized.
I mean, was I wrong though? You can keep apologizing all you want, you still did what you did, and you refuse to acknowledge you're wrong without going apeshit. After giving me some much gracious exposure, I am still so thankful for that. She then goes on to talk about Imposter's video, and boy, she goes in harder. Real brave for you to pretty much go at the throat of an actual child. What pettiness.
Now, on to Imposter's video. Same thing about leaving out the VC prior to the decision being made, but not only that, she also included a person who has nothing to do with the situation at all, as a way to make it look like I treated my friends horribly. That person being Reese. Let me just sit here and tell y'all the story, but before I do, Reese, I am sorry in advance, and also I am no longer holding this against her. The reason why Imposter brought Reese up in particular was because Reese spent an extended amount of time in house arrest.
Reese did indeed spend about a month in house arrest. Exactly 1 month later, she left the server and rejoined to get rid of it. It's bullshit she spent a whole month in house arrest because of something that didn't even happen on your server, yet Foxes who harasses people on your server only got as much as a slap on the wrist. Favoritism is a strong drug, don't do it.
Why? Here's why. Foxmas messaged her one day to tell her in a very civil way that he no longer wanted to voice a character in her project, and didn't want to be guilted into staying. She seemed okay at first, but then shit blew up. Not only was a friend messaging Foxmas and talking back into the role, but Reese went ballistic. An argument ensues with her and Foxmas, and later that night, Foxmas made the hard decision of breaking off their relationship. This was obviously hard for Reese, and even though I was mad at her for how she acted towards Foxmas, I did feel bad for her. Until she started with all the suicidal statuses and the DMs, and from what I could tell, making Foxmas out to be a bad person, as well as kicking me from her server without a reason. Because of all the suicidal stuff being posted, the mods and I had to take action because not only was I getting triggered, but others were getting concerned. So we dragged all three, one at a time, to get their side of the story. In the end, she was instructed not to communicate with Foxmas and give him time. The very next day, Foxmas receives a DM from another friend with a recording from Reese. In turn, Reese ended up in house arrest for deliberately disobeying what the mod team told her to do.
What are you, a fucking court of law? Who are you to instruct users to not talk to others? Yeah, what Reese did was a bit much. Issuing effectively restraining orders over a Discord dispute just goes to show the kind of person you are, the obey me or fuck off mentality. Especially since, say it with me now, this interaction did not happen on your server.
Next thing I want to note about Impasta's video. She provided 2 recordings. One of Parker, the person who was picked on by Foxmas, and Zan, my best friend of 11 years, who was not present during that call. Okay, so for one, I will point out that Parker absolutely at no point in time came to me personally about Foxmas bullying him. I had to go to him, and it was after this drama started. 2, Parker has not only been in VC with me and Foxmas since the incident, but has also been playing with me in streams, even after he stated that he's had nightmares about Foxmas.
Yeah, after go bullshit about Parker not coming to you sooner, I stated before you chose not to give a shit and walk out on others who wanted to talk to you about Fox's harassment.
Now, I don't want to downplay any of Parker's feelings because of course they're valid. I also can't wrap my head around the logic. I have apologized to Parker for the part that I played in all this, and made accommodations just for him, on the off chance that he ever did come back to the server.
Well, good for you. His feelings are so valid, you straight up ignored the shit Foxmas did to him until your mutuals started to leave you. Congratulations.
Now, on to Zan. And this one is gonna hurt me more than anything because, like I said, she was my best friend for 11 years. I will point out that she was right when I said, "You were right, and that I deserve this." But you wanna know what that was? Think hard now, because what it sounds like to me is taking responsibility for what I've done. I mean, what did you want me to say? That I did nothing wrong and you're an ass? Because I could have easily said that.
And knowing just who you truly are, I'm shocked you didn't. As a matter of fact, you're kind of saying that right now. You wanted a civil conclusion, yet you responded with this?
And she tries to play it off as I've been a bad friend. Well, what do you call lying to your friend to their face?
You mean the lies you made about saying no one came to you about Fox's shitty behavior and him changing for the better? Very ironic, you can't keep your own promises and yet you call out others for calling you out.
Now, I will give her the benefit of the doubt that before I found this video, she had already apologized for the part she played in this drama, and was willing for us to genuinely talk afterwards. But after hearing the recording, it made me second guess every single thing that was said in that call.
Wait, it took you 2 months to see a video that Zan apologized for taking part in, and you still felt betrayed after she already apologized for taking part in the video you watched?
You said I would twist it to where it made you the bad guy? No. Sadly for you, I don't have to do anything, because you mentioned a few things that didn't make sense. One was saying that you were never going to come back to the server. Honey, I never asked you to. I just wanted my friend back. You also pointed out that I apologized to maybe 2 or 3 people. Wrong. I tried to send more apologies to other people, but unfortunately I couldn't message them. You also stated making the same mistake for years and it's gotten tiring. How? How have I made this mistake in particular for years, unless you are also pointing out that I made that mistake with you being the Foxmas in the situation? I need you to remember that you've been on my side of the quote-unquote favoritism for the longest time. And like I said before, should have also been in house arrest multiple times over.
Care to provide any examples of Zan being in Foxmas' shoes from a few years back? No? Okay. Also, fucknut, if someone did something to warrant being in house arrest, maybe you should have, I don't know, put them in house arrest?
You can't think for a second that your temper was one of your charming qualities, because unfortunately for you, it was one of the things that I wish you worked on, but I never fucking seen it. I, not once in this situation, said I was a victim. You and everyone else magically came up with that when I was crying and anxious and trying to take responsibility to fix this mess that I helped create. You said you wanted to throw up while you were talking to me after the drama happened? Then why didn't you just cut me out and let me go? Why did you keep your DMs open for me just to give me that little bit of false hope that we could mend this friendship? I will say now that I am sorry for all the pain that I caused my dear friend, but let's be honest here. This all needed to be addressed. There's one more thing I want to add in particular about this clip of the video. However, if added to the script, you will twist it, every word that I have to say, and say I'm guilt-tripping you. So I rest my case. I think I covered all the bases I needed to with Impasta's video, since a good chunk of her is just saying the same thing from only her side of the story.
Oh boy, a lot to pack in here. First off, no one said you were a victim. Nope, you did that to yourself. What do you call your little breakdown stream where it took you nearly an hour to finally apologize and then say everyone in the chat wanted you to suffer?
No, because to every person in this fucking live chat, I deserve to suffer. Because of the decisions I made.
Not all of them are saying that.
They don't have to. I'm not fucking stupid.
You victim carded yourself. Secondly, it was a false hope. This meant the friendship was quickly shut down because Zan realized any reconciliation was going to lead to this happening again. She said this to me herself, and here's the proof. Third, ironically, you're trying to say we are spinning you guilt-tripping when, like I said literally seconds ago, you tried to guilt-trip an entire stream chat during your little pity party as long as they're taking a break announcement. Finally, I find it very funny how you went way harder into Impasta's video when I was more direct and more harsh. You're trying to use a literal child as a scapegoat. That is just scummy.
Now, on to the more painful parts of this video. Just to let you know, this information that I'm about to reveal is important to the later part of this video. This has been something that has been haunting me for the 2 years, and at one point was already revealed to my fans, but for the sake of getting the later part of this video debunked, it needs to be told again.
It's a painful part because this is where you get checkmated. Engaging in NSFW acts with any way with a minor is a giant no-no. I won't be showing the full backstory just because it involves people's OCs being shipped, and yeah, let's just not go there. It then turned into an argument, and then Maggie goes on and on about being banned from a server she made and was sent this DM.
Before I continue, I want to apologize to my newer fans that didn't know about this. I know this is really hard to hear, and I wouldn't blame anybody for unsubscribing for this detail alone. It was a very dark time in my life, and a very, very horrible action I committed.
Same old I was in a dark place card when YouTubers are caught in sexual situations with minors.
But confessing to this was very important for this next part of the story. If you stuck around this long, strap in, I'm about to come down hard. Recently, even more recently than the drama 2 months ago, someone came into VR chat and brought up the situation with Infinite while using a voice changer to make their voice deeper. I'll be showing the clip later, but this is the basic gist. Person came into the stream under the name Cupcakes for Dummies, spelt like that. They hung around the room for about 15 minutes in silence before finally speaking. The voice was extremely deep, almost unnatural. The words were exactly as followed. Maggie, I just have a question for you. Did you enjoy what you did with Infinite?
Well, this deep-voiced individual did the right thing. Confronting you directly in the middle of a public stream only made it even better.
A couple of days later, a Twitter account under the name Cupcakes for Dummies tagged me in a picture as shown in this screenshot. When I confronted this person, going with my first instinct on who it was, they denied it.
Getting all confrontational over a fucking meme? Jesus, how deep does this go?
Before I get into the information I found to prove it was him, a nice dude joined the server and sent me a friend request, which wasn't out of the ordinary. I happily accepted it, and he didn't seem like a bad dude. And he wasn't. However, his purpose for joining and adding me wasn't because he was a random fan. He came to tell me about the rumors that have been spread about me with this screenshot. Take a nice long look at this, and I'll give you a moment to read it. Okay, after receiving the message, we had him join the VC with me and Tundra, in which I proceeded to give him my side of the story. He thankfully already knew that whatever was going on was being blown to be more than what it really was. He even gave me information about where he got the screenshot from, which was Fartsy's server, and even provided the proof of the second accusation, which is this. I blurred out a couple of things, you know, cause no, but this is a very dumb doodle that I sent Missy Morbid way back in the day when everyone was still really tight-knit.
Yeah, sending a nude drawing to a minor is just a dumb drawing. You can call it whatever you want because in the day, you still sent NSFW to someone underage. How do we know it was drawn in a lewd manner and not for artistic value? How she rendered the boobs before rendering the face? No matter of saying a random simp joined your server to defend you will make it any better. You're still a creep at the end of the day.
Alright, listen to me and listen to me good. You already know who I am, I don't have to fucking explain it. I will say this, I will say it the way I have seen it, because I was in there when it happened. I did not know how old Infinite was. I put that on myself. I should have checked. I did not. However, the thing that Infinite and Maggie did was all RP based. Once again, this is the reason why it involves me, because it was my character. Normally I wouldn't care about this. Normally I just stay the fuck out of it, but you people like bringing it up so much, so you know. Listen, I get it. I get it. Listen, I get it if you hate Maggie. Fucking, but the shit that y'all are doing, it needs to fucking stop on both sides, because first of all, I know the people who probably gonna hear this, you know I'm fucking sick and tired of hearing it. You know damn well I'm sick and tired of hearing it. On both sides, I'm sick of it. All I can say is, you can believe what I say, or you cannot. That's on you. But I was there when it happened. Making allegations comes with two things. Please go look up your definition of grooming. I beg of you. Go do it. Do it. Trust me, we got the internet. We have computers for a reason. Not that hard. And once you look it up, I want you to go back and think about what happened. Please do. And if you want to come talk to me, my DMs are open. Y'all know this. I never had them closed. I never had them server locked anyway, because fucking have other shit to do. If you want a full, and I do mean a full explanation of what happened during that night in that call, I will fucking give it to you. Because once again, I was there. I'm sick and tired of this shit coming up to me every time it happens, because I was there, and now because I know the whole thing, I'm the only one who can come to. Stop it. Get some help. Please. This goes to both parties. I get it. It's been 2 years now. 2 fucking years. Stop bringing up old shit. Because you don't understand how nerve-wracking that is for fucking me.
Ren, don't worry about this. You may have been there at the time, but we already know the story and we know both sides. Don't worry about the responses, as they don't involve you. Maggie then brings on Infinite, who is the minor involved in the sexual roleplay, and tries to argue there's no attempt at grooming. Now, to be fair, I don't think there was any attempt at grooming, but I still just find it very weird and disgusting, which is why I chose to continue this. He also proceeded to do exactly what Maggie did and call these attacks and saying the two are legit scared for their safety. Talk about overdramatic, holy shit. In addition, his defense means nothing because as a minor, he can't consent to that type of situation and is in no position to defend her.
As you can see, what they claim I did is 100% false. Yes, I did do something extremely stupid, but it was never to the extent that Quincy and Missy tried to make it out to be.
How many times can you try to spin that ERPing with minors is just a stupid thing you did? Then there's a weird audio glitch where loud music plays with no voiceover that she somehow forgot to edit out. Like, did you even watch this video before you uploaded it?
How fucking ever? It has also come to my attention that Quincy has not only been spreading these rumors around for the possible lols, but has also been emotionally grooming Missy for the last 2+ years. Now, there's not a whole lot of proof on this matter. However, a quick conversation with people who have been around Quincy and Missy in the last 2 years can probably get you some info on the matter.
Oh look, the one engaging in sexual roleplay with a child is trying to project. Just can't accept responsibility without trying to say, well, look at this person. And not a lot of proof is right, because the proof you do talk about is bullshit.
I can tell you that anytime you see Missy, you see Quincy as well in VCs.
What kind of fucking proof is this? Public guys hanging out with friends in a voice chat is automatically grooming. By this logic, you groomed me, you groomed Foxmas, you groomed Imposter Parker, anyone underage you talk to in a VC. See how that makes no sense? Because if you believe this, you're a moron.
And anytime Missy would rap about something minor like what her parents said or did, Quincy would blow it all out of proportion and constantly try to convince Missy to leave her parents' home.
Have you ever thought that maybe she lives in an abusive household? Unless, of course, you want that to happen, knowing your true colors.
Now, for why these new rumors are coming out. Here's my theory. Bubbles, who was still mad about the situation prior, told Quincy about his and Missy's part in the Tamagotchi live streams. For those curious, I made a few Tamagotchi live streams back a few months ago in which I added a number of mutuals from my fan server. Basically everyone from the other side of the drama that happened 2 months ago was present in VC when this stream was going on. To make things a little more dramatic game-wise, I added at first 2 Miis to the island that I wasn't on speaking terms with.
And then we got the 2 people who were not particularly fond with, but I added for the lols. Osha. And Quincy. I still love his outfit.
Those Miis being Osha and Quincy. Missy was added later in the stream, but actually wasn't even my suggestion.
The troll from last time. I forgot his name.
I actually got one.
What?
Go ahead, Dude.
Missy?
By Bubbles' request, I eventually deleted Osha's Mii from the island, because she didn't like the way I was treating the Mii of her friend, the way I was doing, because I will be honest, I was not nice to these Miis, at least to begin with.
Yeah, that was a bad idea. Why would you not only put Miis of people you're not speaking terms with, but also publicly stream it? You're just asking for conflict with that. And yeah, she admitted to mistreating the Miis too. Now, to be fair, the mistreating of Miis honestly doesn't do much, as it's impossible for Miis to legitimately suffer in Tomodachi life. However, seeing as they were Miis of actual people, take it how you will. I personally don't see much in this, but if you do, that's your interpretation that I can understand. Also, she could have just refused to put Missy's Mii, since she wasn't the one with the idea. But yet she still chose to include her anyways.
Before we continue, let me go ahead and tell you what's up with Fartsy. You see, she really didn't deserve a spot in this video because I know she's a good person. However, she decided that not only did she not want to hear my side of the story about the drama 2 months ago, but she also blindly believed 2 people she just met with the very baseless evidence that they had. I will also point out that not only has Fartsy not even been in the server at the time of the drama going down 2 months ago, but wasn't on Discord due to personal reasons.
Fartsy was on hiatus due to personal reasons, yes. But here's the thing. You apologized to her in May when all this started, but when July came around, and when there were crystal clear signs you did nothing to change, she cut contact. When she saw through your bullshit, she called you out, and your only defense is she only heard one side of the story? Sure, okay. What are you smoking to get that kind of delusion? And can I get some of that?
She's also one of the people who outwardly muted Foxmas in calls with him and stated that she doesn't like Foxmas because he's mean. Oh, then why do you insist on being in call with him? Why not go to a different call? Oh no, she's just gonna outright mute him so she can constantly talk over him when he's trying to speak, which is against the rules of my server, by the way. If you think for a second that I wasn't pissed about this, you're solely mistaken. I straight up stated I'm not doing this and left the call to avoid the mass of verbal collision that I couldn't stop.
Well, it should be no surprise you'll be pissed off over an asshole who treats her own mutuals like shit, and since the two of you are e-dating, of course you two will one-night each other. And shocker, you could be in a VC with people you don't like. It's called a public voice chat for a reason. You do have the power to stop this kind of stuff, by the way. It's called, I don't know, being a server owner. You should try it sometime.
And for those wondering, well, why didn't you stop them from talking over or giving her a warning? I tried. You think she fucking listened to me? No, she doubled down.
In other words, you're incompetent.
She also pulled me into a call sometime around the same time period and tried to tell me that I was being manipulated by Foxmas. Here's why that's bullshit. I've been manipulated and abused in my life, and I know the signs when I see them. If you thought for a second I would keep Foxmas around if he was as manipulative as y'all say he is, y'all got another thing coming.
Well, clearly your lessons didn't work, as you let an abusive dick slide into your DMs and managed to make you place him on a pedestal above your own community. Funny how that works, huh?
Here's one of the main reasons I keep him around. Not only has he brought me joy in my life, he is also one of those absolute beautiful fans I had at the time that stuck by my side because he knew that all I did was make a mistake. And through those 2 years, we became close friends. We had our fights, our arguments, but like friends, we always talked them out and apologized, which is more than I can say for some people. He also has a wide sense of humor, and I believe we meshed well together, and still do. Even with that stupid-ass soundboard of his!
What kind of joy are we talking about? The joy of letting someone harass your mutuals, or writing his... Haha, funny sex joke, I know. But hey, that's the only kind of joke Foxes knows how to do, and you know what? They're mediocre at best.
You see, he has been more of a friend to me than a lot of people see or care to admit. Much better of a friend than Quincy and Missy ever was, and starting to believe he's better than the others as well. Cause let me just tell you something. He was man enough to admit the part he played in all this and apologize, and has gotten better even though nobody believed he could. Which is much more than I can say about everyone who had a part in this drama, apart from Zan.
I would play that clip of Jameson laughing again, but since I don't like reusing jokes, I won't. I still doubt your baseless claim of Fox is doing better. Only improvement I've seen in the past 44 minutes is you sympathy for him harder than ever.
He may not be someone who was well liked, but let's be honest. Do you think I like everybody in that server? No. There are people in that server that sometimes get on my nerves more than others. But do you see me bitching about it? Do you see me making a scene over one person? No! I avoid them like any person with a fucking brain cell would. I also don't make a spectacle of kicking or banning them unless they actually do something wrong.
Right, which is why you kicked me from the server when I joined back, despite me not even doing anything? Sure didn't age very well now, did it? And it looks like you did make quite a scene with that Twitter account by trying to talk to it and thinking it's Quincy, instead of, oh, I don't know, I'm just spitballing here, blocking the account and ignoring it?
I will also point out that in no time did I lie to Fartsy. I apologized to her when the bullying allegations came around, but she never found out about the other drama that happened, because she wasn't around! She also didn't come around until well over a month later, in which she was in the server for 5 days before leaving with this message. You could have asked me anything about it, but you didn't.
What is there to ask you about when you straight up confessed yourself? Or did you just forget this document exists? Plus, she was on your old server, where she could have had access to your confession document.
I will also point out that Fartsy was in my server 2 years ago when I was outed. Strange, huh? And I already know that there's gonna be a slew of people in the comments like this. Maggie, you're such a hypocrite. You did the same thing. You were telling outsiders too. Incorrect! I went to people who fucking mattered. For instance, my admins were the first people I went to when this drama started, which was why Tundra was present with me during my announcement.
Is that why you brought Tundra to your taking a break stream? Or is it because you needed a portable echo chamber where you inevitably couldn't talk properly?
Any other people that were told about this were either people that already knew about the other side of the story, either came from my side, or came to find out what the hell happened. I also went to 3 therapy sessions about this, and the situation from 2 months ago was all I fucking talked about to this lady. I feel so fucking bad for her.
At least you took something from my previous video about you. That's an Academy record.
Even some people who don't particularly like Foxmas think that this entire situation got blown out of proportion way further than it ever needed to, and this is having both sides.
You mean the people that chose to stick around despite probably knowing about this? Because it sure as hell isn't a lot that stuck around.
I will also throw it out there, and here is proof of it. The night that I called Imposter to formally apologize about what happened, we were on call for 4 hours. Maybe an hour or so of that was actually talking about the situation. The rest was sharing TikToks and drawing cute shit, which Imposter pinned. Only for her to immediately go back to her normal spiel of telling everyone I'm a bad person, as if we weren't just laughing and having fun 12 hours prior.
Notice how these were from June 25th. This continuation started in August. Times changed very quickly in case you didn't know. Anyone could go from having multiple hours of funny videos and art but turn into war anytime. It's called natural progression. In this case, it led to you being in the firing zone of yet another calling out from multiple people.
You see the pattern here, right? But back to my theory. Of course, after Fartsy is told, she believes them, posts an announcement in her server, word gets to the server the nice dude is in, and then he contacts me. Before he contacted me, the stuff in VR chat and the one Twitter account that was made had already happened, so we already had our suspicions before he came to us. We, however, underestimated that Missy was also involved. Unfortunately, though they pulled the wool over my ex-friend's eyes, they could not pull the wool over everyone else's eyes, especially knowing the history. Right? They also expected me to be scared and hide like I tried to before, but no. This ends now.
Yeah, no. You don't know how these kind of scenarios work. There's just no forgetting an ending to these kinds of conflicts. All of this second part could have just ended if you had just apologized and admit you fucked up, and fix yourself for the better. Like I said in the end of Favoritism and Denial, I can safely say that title not only aged greatly, but also intensified, as you are so far gone now I can't even help you without stooping to my no mercy attitude.
Now, what proof did I have that it's Quincy and Missy? Well, besides the stuff I already mentioned, it wasn't hard to get more proof. I was more than prepared to make this video with the thought that it may be my very last. I don't know how everyone's going to react to the news I gave them, and I already know that there will be a few choice comments down below. But I couldn't keep silent with these rumors about me going around. Once again, I'm sorry to my new fans who didn't know about any of this and are either mad or disappointed. I 100% take responsibility for the part that I did play in this, and I will not blame you for unsubscribing. And a final note to those on the other side of all this, who I will address separately.
The thought of this video being your last is reasonable. I mean, how many YouTubers had their careers literally ended because of videos like this? But you? I admire your fighting, despite how hilariously stupid your arguments have been throughout these past months. And now, address us, acknowledge us, share us with more free exposures and clicks, Mother Maggie.
And Pasta. I considered you like a daughter to me, and I've been there for you multiple times, including that one time where I attacked someone in a separate server because they told you to commit unalive. I've listened to you vent, I gave you advice, I welcomed you into my server with open arms, only for this one incident to happen to make you act as if I never treated you with any kindness. The fact that you went as far as you did is not only depressing, but it's also very fucked. And the fact that it's basically destroyed whatever friendship I have left with your sister pisses me off even more. I want you to sit long and hard and think about all the things you've done in these situations and act on getting better. Otherwise, you'll end up like me. Take it from a pro, kid. This is not the life you want.
You welcomed her into your server with open arms, and you proceed to throw it all away due to bouts of favoritism for total dick cheese. And by the way, she doesn't need to take notes from you to not be like you. She's already doing way better, and you know why? Because she doesn't play favorites or sexual roleplay with minors.
Bubbles. I hate that our friendship dissolved because of this. I still remember back in the day when it was all of us in the Afterstory Skype. We always had fun and laughed. I get that Fox must upset you with his behavior, and as a server owner, I apologize that it wasn't handled better. However, you never said to me that you were sorry for the part that you played in this. I'm not going to say anything about the VC before Foxmas joined the stream because your feelings were valid, and I'm sorry I called you petty for leaving. That was my misplaced anger, and I will take that one. But no amount of mean words from me will excuse the fact that you decided to use the live stream chat to call out what you saw. You also jumped down my throat for telling Berg when he came to you to tell you the same thing without even asking why I told him, when basically to explain that my only choice for Alion's voice had left the project. He asked if he could talk to you. I told him he could, but I knew it wasn't going to go well. Out of all the people whom I never had a problem with, I was hoping you would have been the most understanding, or at least more understanding than you were, but you weren't. You took every opportunity, even when I was apologizing to you, to call me out on everything you never came to me before about. I wish you the best of luck, because I still genuinely love your art, and I still believe you're a good person. But until I hear an apology, don't talk to me.
Why does she need to apologize to you exactly? Say sorry for caring about Parker and Imposta? And she had to call you out in her live chat, likely because you couldn't deal with Foxes yourself without having someone else shove reality into your face. I'm not gonna bother with addressing Zan as it's just your stock. I'm sorry, we were friends for a long time. I want you to do good in life. The end.
Missy, I thought of you as a treasured friend ever since we met back in Frost's server. You believed in me when I unintentionally started all that drama with my vents about Silver, and you were good to me. And I'm sorry if I was ever bad to you. I know you mentioned before that I was a toxic person at one point, and because of that, I've been working on myself. And I really don't want you to keep being used like this. Please know that you don't have to continue being controlled like this. You are your own person, and you can still get your life on track. I'm willing to forgive you for joining in on this lie, but you need to protect yourself before it's too late. I wish you the best of luck.
How exactly is Missy being controlled and used? Your little conspiracy about Quincy doesn't count.
Quincy. I don't know your true motive, but I can think of many reasons. Whether it be the Tamagotchi live streams, or the fact that you're just a spite-filled gremlin. Regardless of your reasonings, I do apologize for whatever the reason was that made you be like this. However, I want to apologize for one thing in particular. And that is when I said that you were just like Silver. I was wrong. You're not like Silver. You're worse. At least Silver knew when to leave me the hell alone. Had I known that you were going to be like this, whenever I welcomed you into my friend group all those years ago, I would have second-guessed letting you get close, because all you've proven to me is that you're willing to go as far as you can to hurt someone like this. And you can't say that it's just me being mad, because you've done it to others too, including Missy. But I do have to thank you. When you were still the nice dude that joined our group, we created fond memories. And I'll never forget. And honestly, if you weren't so spiteful, I never would have put this dark past of mine to rest. However, you can no longer point the finger at me. So thank you for hating me. I wish nothing but the best for you. And these are my last words to you. Stay away from me, Quincy.
Spite-filled gremlin is the best way I could describe what you have become. You have turned into the very thing you just described. This could have been avoided, but since you chose to go down the warpath, you shouldn't be surprised.
With all that being said, thank you all for watching. Maggie loves you bitches. Blessed be. Have a good night.
Holy sweet Jesus, it's finally over. So, what now? To tell you the truth, I'm not sure. But I guess I should start off by saying, Maggie, you're actual scum. Falsely accusing someone that called you out and using literal children as scapegoats because you can't handle being called out for your shitty behavior is very low. And as long as you continue to spew this bullshit of all this being just a mistake, I will happily keep this going. And leave Imposter and Parker alone. Knowing the kind of shit you did with other minors, it astonishes me that people still trust you around children. Now, I'm not outright saying you're a pedo or a groomer, but what you did could be constituted as such. But hey, that's not coming from me though. That's coming from the fucking law. With all of this being said though, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if Maggie makes another shit response, I will happily make a third one, make this a full-on trilogy. Because I have literally nothing better to do, and commentary is fucking awesome. I'll see you all some other time. Peace out.